everybody, welcome to Frannie's Hair. Have you ever wondered how to take care of your heat-friendly wigs if they have waves or curls in them? I've gotten so many questions about it, and so I'm sharing with you today what I do. So stay tuned. Okay, so what I'm going to do with you today is actually show you three different things. The first thing is I have my Madison here and her ends were not feeling great. So what I did was I used the steam method on her, and I'm going to show you what I did. I am not great at working with steam, and I know so many people swear by it. I just can't get it to work for me. So what I did with this is I did apply steam, and the ends got a little bit better. They still don't seem as free moving as I'd like them to be, but I'll show you what I did. As I said, they got a little bit better, but not up to my standard. The next thing I'm going to show you is how I do a light maintenance, where I'm actually taking care of my wig all along the way, and I'm doing that with Alicante. And so every time she needs a little bit of treatment, you can see her ends are looking great because I worked on her in this video, and you'll see me do that. As soon as she needs a little bit on the ends, I'm on it, and it's so much easier. And then finally, I will show you what I did to Newport, who was a disaster. I let her go way too long, and so I had to do an overhaul on her. So you're going to see that as well. All right, let's get started with the steam method. Okay, so for method number one, I'm going to be using my Belle Tress Madison in Caramel Blonde Rooted. I wear her all the time, and if I show you her ends, they're getting a little bit crunchy down here. I think you can see that, hopefully. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to steam the ends, and then I'm going to hang her in a hairnet that I have. And I have one of these hangers. I just got these on Amazon that open like this so that I can kind of hang the hairnet in there and close it up and then just hang it to dry. So I have my steamer here, and this is also one that I got right off of Amazon. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try steaming the ends. Hopefully you can see this. And combing through them a little bit very carefully so as not to break the fibers. All right, so let's turn this on. And she has a little bit of wave to her, and that's what I'm trying to keep in here, and just apply some of this steam so that hopefully it'll fix the ends while not messing with her style too much. This way I'm not messing with the rest of the style, and the fibers are fine. It's really just the ends that have gotten a little bit of damage on them. Okay, it's looking better already. Let me just get a little bit more. I want to make sure I get these ends nicely. Watch your fingers, you can burn yourself quite easily with these steamers. I say this from experience. This, so you can see here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hairnet over her. And what this will do is keep the ends kind of scrunched a little bit so that it's not weighted down when it's drying. Okay, so I kind of have her ends kind of scrunched up, and then what I'll do is I'll take my hanger, just the net, I don't put the wig in between the hanger thingies, just the hairnet itself, and then I'll close it up, and I just kind of hook it onto the hanger to hold it there, and then hang this up. And that's method number one. I'll show you when she dries. Okay, so you can see here that the ends look a little bit better, but not good enough for me. Okay, so I'm going to work on belle tress Alicante, and I don't know if you saw my video where I talked about the fact that I wore her to a scrapbooking weekend to help my sister sell some of her jewelry she makes, and I can't tell you how many people wanted to try this wig on and how many people it looked really great on, just because this style is great for so many face shapes. It's really a great style. It's a belle tress wig, which means it's heat friendly, and I try to treat this wig fairly often. Every time I wash it, I just want to treat the ends that look a little rough. By doing that, I don't have to redo the whole style, and I'm all about doing less. So I'm going to show you what I do. She's been washed, and I'm going to basically use the new 3-in-1 NV Air Styler, the curling iron attachment, some water, and this comb. Now, a lot of people will tell you not to use this comb on heat-friendly fibers because you can damage them really easily. So you've got to be very careful. But I find that once I spritz it with water, if it's tangle-free and I just go through, it kind of brings the ends together. So I do like to use this comb, but you've got to be very careful. Now, I have experience using this with this wig, and I know that I need to put the heat on high down here, and I'm going to use a low fan. Now, normally when you're curling with this tool, you're going to want to hold the curl for a certain amount of time and then apply the cool shot to set the curl. But I'm not trying to change the style. I'm not trying to get a curl out of this. Actually, all I want to do is put this in the direction that the curl is going, so I'm not messing with the curl, and just seal those ends with the heat. So I'm not even going to use the cool shot, and I'm hoping that it maintains its own curl that it already has. So that's what I love about using this tool. I'm not trying to recurl. When I move on to a more damaged piece, at that point, then I'm going to have to either straighten and then curl or figure something out. But for this piece, she's in pretty good shape, but she does have some ends that I'd like to work on. So let me just bring her closer and show you. Hopefully you can see this here. So it's not bad, but there is some crunchiness on some of the ends, and you can see that, let me just turn her around. Yeah, just like on some of the ends here. So I'm really not going to mess with any part of this wig that doesn't need the heat. All right, so what you can do if you want, I have these clips and I can take a certain section out and clip it away so that I can see the section. I honestly don't do that most times, unless I'm really redoing the style. Most times I just look for my piece, like this piece here, these ends I would like to fix, and I look for a piece where, let me just show you, the curl is all going the same direction. I don't want to take a big chunk and have curls all different directions and apply heat to it because I want to keep those curls separate. So basically what I do is turn on some music, get myself a drink, and I start just doing little sections. So for this example, I'm just going to do, let me pick a curl here that's good to show you. Okay, look. So here you can see that's all going the same direction, this curl. I'm going to try to give a close-up of the camera. And you can see that the ends are just a little bit crispy there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that curl, spritz it with some water, like that. I take my comb through it, just making sure that the fibers are all together like that. And I know this looks like a tiny piece, but I really want to keep each of my curls separate. Now I'm going to turn this, well first I'll put it in. I like to put it in first. And I see that the end is curling this way. So I'm just like kind of clamping it in. That's it. I'm not doing anything with the top of it. I'm going to put it on. It's on high heat, and I'm just applying that for a little bit. Okay, and then I'll take it out. And you see how it still kept its curl, but now it has sealed the ends together and they feel better. You can't feel it, I know, and that's basically all I'm doing. I'm going through, and I know you're thinking probably, oh my gosh, each little curl, but that's what I do. And I only do the ones that need it that time. I don't go through the whole wig. I'll look at the bottom here, like this feels a little crunchy down here. So in that case, yeah, maybe you want to just get these out of the way while you work on that one. Okay, so down here, you can see, hopefully, it doesn't quite have the movement. It kind of sticks together. And all of this is moving that direction. So I'm going to spritz it. Like that. Comb through it. And if you do this every time you wash, you're not going to have to do the whole wig, and you'll keep it in better condition. Your damage won't creep up. It seems that when you start getting damage down here, the fibers start to stick together and tangle, and your damage creeps up. So I try to avoid that at all costs. Okay, so again, I'm going to clip this in the direction of the curl. Now I didn't get all of it. Let's see if I can get all of it. I might not be able to. Yeah, no, because some of it's a little longer. So I'll take the longer piece first. There we go, clip it in. Just curve it in that direction, turn it on. Some of it you can see is coming out, so I'm going to have to do that. And you can see it's still going in that direction, and I feel it. Does it feel crunchy or does it feel better? That feels better to me. And then I'll move on to this piece down here, which is still wet from, the mister. Again, following, I'll have to pin this out of the way so you can see. Following the way this is curving. It's really that I'm trying to seal the ends. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay. They start to fray, and if I can just get them to close up again, that's good. Now, like I said, I'm using high heat. I know what this wig can take. You probably want to start with a little bit less heat and then work your way up just so you don't damage your fibers. Better to use too little at first than too much. Okay, so there you go. Definitely the ends on that, hopefully you can see, are better. And that's basically all I do. I go through my wig after a washing and start to just take whichever ones feel damaged. Like this one, I would do this one probably next. You can probably see, hopefully I'll bring the camera up close. I wish you could feel it. You can really tell by the way it feels too. It's like a little crunchy and it doesn't want to move. So let's just do this one. Okay, so all of this is curving the same way at the bottom there. I'm only doing the bottom. Oops. Only doing the bottom. So I'm going to get my hair in there and clamp it and turn it on. And then hopefully you can see those ends there looking better, definitely feeling better. Okay, so that's basically what I do to keep a wig in shape. That way I'm just doing the pieces that got some wear, and then everything on the top here is totally fine. I'm not changing the style. Okay, now let's talk about when I've been a bad girl. And I was a bad girl with Newport. You can see the hairs sticking together here. Not a lot of free movement. And look at the ends. They look terrible. I just never got around to it, and I kept wearing her. And so this is going to take some more repair than what we just did with Alicante. So first I'm going to put her up on my block, my canvas block head here. And I know I get a lot of questions about which one I'm using. I use the John Renault blockhead. I have the average size, which is a 21.5-inch circumference. It comes in different sizes. My circumference has actually gone down to 21 inches, so I think I'm going to get the petite size. You want to make sure you don't get one too big because you'll end up stretching out your wig. And then I have the deluxe clamp here because I usually clamp this to a table, but since I'm in the bathroom, it's actually clamped to a little footstool. All right, and I'm going to pin her onto the head. She's a mess. Okay, and I do that through the ear tabs. You don't want to pin through lace. Lace is very delicate and you don't want to mess with that. Okay, so to get the frizz out of this, which is going to take the curl out, I'm going to have to recurl it after, but it's just in such bad shape, you can see. What Envy recommends is using their big round brush, spritzing with water, and detangler. They recommend Beauty Mark. I don't have that on hand, so I'm using the John Renault detangler. Let me turn this so you can see how bad this is. All right, I'm gonna just start right here with this section. I have done some underneath, and you can see how the hair is just flowing nicely under there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is spritz it with some water and some detangler. And where's my comb? I'm going to use the wide tooth comb here to go through it first, so I'm not having any tangles in it while I'm working. And when the hair is damaged, it tangles so easily. I'm sure you know that. All right. Okay, now I'm going to use this on high heat with low fan and go through it. You can pin up your other sections as you're working to help you, just keep these hairs out of the way, which I probably should have done. But already it's feeling so much better. Yeah, so much better. Now it's not going to be perfect. I let this go too long, but it's going to be a lot better by the time I'm done with it. Okay, and you can see those are starting to move better. And I move the brush fairly slowly through it to get the heat. Okay. I'm going to keep going around and doing different sections. I'm going to come over here and do this section now. Maybe I'll just pin this, get this out of my way. There we go. It's a little bit easier. So now I'm going to work on this section again. You can see how the hairs are all sticking together. I'm going to spritz it with water and detangler. Come through it with the comb. Okay. Okay, so now you can see it's moving much better. And I'm going to go through the rest of the wig and do this, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've gone through the whole wig using the water mister and the detangler, and it feels much better. But as you can see, it doesn't have the style it used to have. So now what I'm going to do is switch to the curling iron and try to put some style back in. I'm going to leave it on high heat and low fan, and what I'm going to do is just try to see if where their sections still have some curl, if I can follow that curl in that section. And if not, I'm going to put my own curl in. So I'm going to start with this first section. Not the bang, that one seems to have kept its curl pretty much, so I'm going to just leave that up there. But this section here, it looks like it wants to curl back that way, so that's what I'm going to do to it. So to curl it, I find to get the best curl, use a wig hairspray. I have Beltress Salon Hold here. It just happens to be the one I have on hand, and it smells really good too. So I'm just going to spritz that with the hairspray and come through with my comb. And now I'm going to put this on the curling iron and kind of spiral up. You don't want the hair overlapping itself. And if you haven't watched my video on how to use this tool, where the educators for Envy actually did the video with me, make sure you take a look at that. I like to get it in place first, then I turn it on. It's high heat, low fan. And I know my Beltress wigs, and they need some heat to really curl. So start out with less and always work your way up. You don't want to damage your wig, just until you learn what they handle. Okay, now I'm going to put on the cool shot, because to get a curl you have to set the curl in there. You can't just pull it out. You won't have a curl. And sometimes I'll take it out and I'll think, oh, I want more curl, and I do it again. But less is better at first. I'm going to let it cool just a little bit more. And this also, the smaller the amount of fibers you put on the curling wand, the more it'll curl. So if I want a looser curl, which is really what I want here, I have a little bit more of a section. If I wanted to make tiny little curls. This does not want to come, there we go. And there you go. So I have my curl there. I'm still going to leave it, let it set while I move on to the next spot here. And I'm going to do this section. It's hard for me to tell which way it was going. I think I'm going to do another section going back. Sometimes I just make an executive decision. After all, it's my hair. What would you do with your own hair? Okay. And again, making sure my cool shot's off. You start wrapping at the bottom of the wand, like that, and then spiral up, like that, so that the hair's not overlapping itself. And then I'm going to turn on low fan, high heat. Now the cool shot. I had a customer contact me and she's like, I cannot curl this wig, it won't curl. You need to apply heat and then a cool shot to set it in place. If you don't do that cool shot, it's not going to curl. So make sure you do that. And if you don't have a cool shot on whatever tool you're using, once it comes out from the heat, pin it still in the curl until it cools off. Release this curl. Now this one was a bigger section. There you go. So there I have 2 curls there. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep moving on and doing the next section that I want to curl. I don't want them too big. mix it with my hairspray. And again, I'm going to curl. Turn my cool shot off. Trying to look at the way the curl's going here. I'm going to try curling this one the other direction. Going in and rotating up. This time I curled it going that way instead of that way. And if I don't like it, I can always change it. Not a big deal. I'm losing some of the hairs there. Alright, turn it to cool shot. And you can see that one's curling the other way there. Now I may decide I do like that or I don't like that once I fluff it all together. But you can see the fibers are moving better again and it's looking much better than it was. Okay, so I'm halfway through. I just want to show you where I'm at. I don't want to bore you with the whole thing, but here is this side where I've been putting curls back in. I haven't combed them out yet. And here is the side where I haven't yet. So you can definitely see the difference. Now, let me just put this back up here a second. I can comb through this. The fibers are falling much more naturally again. They're not clumping together. See how nice they look? It's not my Newport style, I'm sure, the way I got it. But she's definitely wearable and I'm liking her a lot better again. And I think I've learned my lesson not to let my wigs go this long without treating them. Okay, so I did my whole Newport and you can see, I'm going to put up the picture of me when I first tried on Newport and I think you'll see the style's not exactly the same, but my ends are looking much better as you can see and the hair is moving much more freely again. So my advice to you would be not to wait too long, otherwise you're probably going to have to try to recreate the style yourself. As soon as you notice even the tiniest bit of damage on the ends, get to work on them. If you do wait too long, however, it's not the end. You don't have to throw the wig out. You can still go through it, get that frizz out, get the ends feeling better, and then try to recreate the style yourself. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. I know I've had so many questions on how to heat treat wigs that have waves and curls. So I've shown you how to do easy maintenance and then what to do if you've really let it go too long. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Also, if you have some tips for us, because I am not a professional stylist, I'm really just using the tools I have and trying to make the best of what I have and the instructions I've gotten and seeing what works and trying to share with you what works, what doesn't work for me. But if you have any tips or suggestions, please put them in the comments. We all want to hear them. We all want to learn from each other. All right, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Remember to make it your own, and I'll see you soon.